So let's welcome in five-time NFL Executive of the Year, Scott Pioli. Look, I'm not saying we're going to find the next Tom Brady here, but when you are looking at film for these guys, what sort of qualities and traits are you looking for?
Amanda, a lot of people want to see just what's going on during the play itself, and that is critical, obviously. But to me, when I watch tape, I like to see what happens before the snap and after the snap. That second or half a second or a couple of seconds, to me, tells you so much about the makeup of a player. For instance, if you see a player in the secondary and there's a big play made in the secondary, who's the player after the tackle or after the touchdown that's sitting there with palms up, complaining about his teammate? Who's the player or who's the quarterback if something goes wrong and you can see the quarterback again, palms up, someone looking to blame? So to me, there's not only this snap to whistle part of the play that is critical, there's all of the stuff that happens pre-snap and post-tackle or post-whistle that is an important part of the tape evaluation.
Scott, you have a handful of prospects you are calling can't-miss guys heading into tonight. We're going to go through them, and I do want to say they're not in any particular order, so people watching this can't get mad. Let's start with Aidan Hutchinson. Why is he a can't-miss prospect for you?
Amanda, first of all, a quick qualifier. There's no such thing as can't miss, but these are as close to can't miss as I can get. Aidan Hutchinson is so good to me because he has shown everything that you need to see on tape. He has shown everything that you need to see on tape. It's his makeup, his dependability. Again, he's an interesting player to me because he's one of the players that is so well refined in terms of his hand use, in terms of his discipline, playing the position. That sounds like something that people will say, oh, well, everyone's got that. No, not everyone has that. So to me, he is probably getting close to his ceiling in terms of how much upside there is. There's other players that may have greater upside, that may have things in terms of tools that may be better if they hit. But the if is a big point. But to me, Aidan Hutchinson, whatever his best is, you know that you're going to get. What he is not going to be is a draft bust. So to me, that is so important to a player that I know is a close to must work out.
All right, your next can't miss, or as close as can't miss as we can get, Michigan edge rusher David Ojabo. Look, there's a ton to like about him, but what piques your interest the most?
Well, here's the thing. During this last season, I did work for a number of college football programs, one of them being the University of Michigan. And when I watched David Ojabo over the course of the season, and also based on the previous season, when I did preseason reports on him, during this season, he ascended and improved as much as any player in the country that I saw in terms of his technique, in terms of his fundamentals, his pass rush. And again, what he always had was a motor. So Aidan Hutchinson and David Ojabo balanced one another really well, but what they both had was supreme motors. And again, to me, as I saw it broke my heart when he tore his Achilles during that pro day, because to me, I saw a player again who was on the come, who was coming into his own as a player. I see him as a can't-miss player because someone is going to get a tremendous deal and tremendous value on him. People are talking about him having now dropped to the second round. If he goes in the second round and a team gets him and they can get him to rehab in their building and that ascension continues at the same pace and the same rate that it was happening this past season, they are going to get a can't-miss player.
The next guy, and this is somebody who's not always in the first round, and this is why we appreciate you, because you dig past that. And maybe he will end up in the first round. You're going with Georgia safety Lewis Cine. Why is he can't miss in your opinion?
This guy is the total deal. George is another one of the programs that I worked with this past season. And you're right, he's probably not going to go in the first round. But just because someone doesn't go in the first round doesn't give them the opportunity to be a can't-miss player. This guy, Lewis Cine, is as tough a player in college football all this year. He makes hits. I mean, that was Brian Robinson Jr. We just saw him hit there. And Brian Robinson Jr. never gets knocked backwards. But the fact that he stalemated him and there was no movement after the catch shows what Lewis Cine is. And again, he's one of these tough guys. Again, he's from Everett, Massachusetts. And anybody out there who knows Everett, Massachusetts, where my 3 college teammates and roommates are from, that is as tough a community as they come from. This kid is all day tough. And you're right, he may not make it into the first round. He probably won't. But regardless of where he goes, he is going to be a player that we hear about for a long time coming.
Someone who probably will make it into the first round, very high in the first round at that, and he is next on your list. It is Evan Neal. Why can't miss here?
Oh, he is the total package. Again, he's big, he's strong, physical tools. The other thing that he has is incredible maturity. This is a guy who left his home at 15 years old to go to IMG Academy. Right from there, he went to the University of Alabama, the best country in the best program in the country. Goes in as an 18-year-old young man and starts his first year. Spends only 3 years at the University of Alabama, starts every single game except for one because of COVID, and he's played right tackle, he's played left tackle, he's played guard. And it's not just the physical ability that he has in terms of being versatile, he is brilliant, and he's not only smart, he's a quick thinker. So he has that ability to have position flexibility, which is very important, particularly in your young career.
All right, finally, the fifth player on your can't miss. Again, these are out of order. There's no order here. Alabama wide receiver John Metchi III towards ACL in the SEC Championship on December 4th. Look, there are going to be so many wide receivers taken in this draft. What is so special about him?
Well, Amanda, here's the thing. If we go pre-season last year, going into the season, he was the name that so many people were buzzing about because of what he did in 2020. Remember, he replaced a couple of good receivers, came in there, did a tremendous job in 2020, has a terrific 2021 season, but then tears his ACL in the SEC championship game. And it's like all of a sudden everyone has forgotten about how good this guy was. You know, it's interesting because Jameson Williams, who injured his knee later in the season in the national championship game, he hasn't dropped at all, but no one's talking about John Metchi. I spent a ton of time with John Metchi because, again, Alabama was another one of the schools I worked with. This kid gets it. He can play outside, he can play inside. He has the physical skills to be a dual threat in terms of position flexibility, but the other thing that he has is football smarts. Brilliant young man who can learn multiple positions, has learned multiple positions, and played multiple positions. To me, John Metchi is one of these guys who's fallen off the radar and is going to be a star in the National Football League.
Scott, we love and appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the draft tonight.
I will, Amanda. Thanks so much. Great to be with you again.
All right, taking a look at some upcoming NFL dates. If you didn't hear, the draft is tonight, by the way. That's going down. Coming up after that, rookies. These guys are going to be reporting to training camp going on July 14th through the 23rd. And NFL kickoff weekend, Cowboys at Bucks. That goes down September 9th. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.